So, welcome to this Unbound business workshop. I'm Nicola Humber. If you haven't met me before, I think most of the people here are aware of who I am. And I'm not going to go into kind of a big introduction about who I am and what I do. If you haven't kind of come into contact with me before, if you're watching the recording, you'll get a flavour of what I'm about from this workshop anyway. And yeah, the most important thing is to dive into what I want to be sharing with you today. So on that note, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to be together. I've put that it's going to be about 75 minutes. It shouldn't be certainly shouldn't be any longer than that. This is an interactive session, so it very much depends on, what comes up throughout it. But we'll see how it goes. I haven't really timed how long it's going to be, but usually I'm pretty good at feeling into how long things are going to last. So I'm just going to minimize and I'm going to start this. Okay. There you go. So I always get a bit paranoid at this point that no one can see my slides and that no one, that I'm not recording, but I'm trusting that all is well and that you can see my slides and that I'm still recording. So this is the Unbound Business Workshop. And what I mean, and just to say, if you are joining, if you could just mute yourself for the recording, that would be great.
I'm going to go off. I'll mute now.
I think Emily, I'm not sure if you're muted, but if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Yeah, what I mean by unbound business, I use the word unbound a lot. It's my thing, it's what I do. But what I mean by unbound business specifically is to run your business. There's a bit of background noise. I think, I'm not sure if Emily, have you muted your microphone? Because I can hear it keeps coming up with some background noise. So if you could do that.
How do I do that?
If you hover down at the bottom of the screen, there's a little microphone and you should just be able to click on that and mute yourself. You see it? Yeah? It sounds like you've done it. Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, what I mean by unbound business is a business where you feel fully expressed, which is a key aspect of living an unbound life. So you want to feel fully expressed in your business. You want to be living deeply in your gifts and your unique gifts. So you want to really feel that you are bringing all of your gifts to your business. You're really allowing yourself to be supported by your gifts. And also that you're getting really abundantly well paid for what you do, because it's really important. I believe it's very important that we get more money into the hands of unbound women, that more unbound women are open to the flow of money. That's kind of one of the missions behind what I do. So it's those three aspects to running an unbound business, and that's what this session is designed to support you with. So during this session, I'm going to be talking specifically about some of the changes in the collective energy that you want to be aware of, and how to harness the power of these in your business. Now, it's very likely that you are doing a lot of this already quite naturally because of the nature of who you are and, the people who are here with me live. And I know, the people who are watching the recording, if you're part of my community, if you're part of the Unbound community, it's very likely that you're already doing a lot of this. But what is going to be helpful in this session today is that I'm going to be affirming a lot of the shifts that have been happening in the collective, and helping you to move more deeply into really harnessing the power of them and infusing them into your business in the most potent way. I'm going to be sharing some of the key questions that you need to ask in order to attract more of your, what I call, soul family clients. You know, these are the clients that you are meant to be working with. And when I talk about clients, it could be, you know, clients, it could be your audience, it could be like people you're selling products to, maybe physical products, it may be services. What I'm sharing today in this session is going to be relevant to you, whether you have a service-based business or a product-based business. The people that I work with do tend to be service-based businesses, and very often there's they can be services which are what I would describe as magical. And what I mean by that is that it's kind of maybe difficult to put words to what you do. You know, that is one of the challenges sometimes of being an unbound woman, that you have this kind of multifaceted quality, and what you do, what you're here to do in the world, is really very magical. It can be quite elusive and maybe challenging to describe it and to put it into words, but your soul family clients will get it. They will inherently get what you do, and there are some questions that can really help you to become magnetic to your soul family clients. I'm going to be sharing the one thing that is vital to your business success in 2019. So this is something that you really want to be bringing into your business, you want to be aware of in everything that you do in your business. I'm going to be taking you through a process, a specific process, to help you clearly identify the next evolution of your business and your next steps towards this. So the nature of kind of walking the unbound path means that we're in this continual process of kind of evolution and transformation. And the same applies to your business. It's evolving continually. So, and it's really important that you keep up with that. Otherwise you start to feel stagnant, you will start to feel bored and frustrated with your business, and that will be reflected in the results that you're able to create. So I really want to help you today to access information around the next evolution of your business and how to kind of step into that. And also during this session, I'm going to be letting you know some more about the Unbound Business Mastermind, which is a group experience that is beginning in April. So after listening to what I've got to share with you today and being part of this workshop, if you feel that you want some more support in really harnessing the power of everything that I'm sharing with you today, and really experimenting with it and playing with it, and really coming on an unbound business journey with me, then I'm going to be letting you know how you can do that. And there will be the opportunity to ask questions at the end as well. But also, if you have questions or insights that are coming up as we're going through, please do type them into the chat box as well. Because then, you know, because if it's coming to you, just type it in, and then that's a way of, not forgetting it before we get to the end. So please do that. Okay, before we move on, I just want to invite you to take a breath. Just to pause and just take a few deep breaths, actually. Just to get grounded and settled. So this is whether you're here with me live or watching the recording. Just taking some really lovely deep breaths right down into your belly. Just allowing yourself to feel fully present and setting your intention to receive whatever it is you need to receive from this workshop today. Okay. And you may not know exactly what that is. You don't need to know. But just allowing yourself to be in that place of openness, receptivity, and intending to receive whatever it is you need to receive in order to create the business that you truly desire. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's move on. And this is talking about what's going on in the collective at the moment. And I really want to let you know this is something that I've been talking about recently, but it's never been a better time to be an unbound woman in business. And again, what I mean by an unbound woman, there are lots of different aspects to this, but the main aspects, the main qualities of an unbound woman are that, one, freedom is like your key value. Freedom is, your most important priority. You need to feel free in whatever you do, and you need to feel fully expressed, or you want to feel fully expressed. So it really has never been a better time to be an unbound woman in business. And that's because of what is happening in the collective right now. These shifts that have been happening in the collective energy. And even thinking back to last year, when I was putting this together and thinking about what I wanted to talk about and reflecting back on last year, it kind of feels there's a very different quality to what we're experiencing now and what's happening in 2019 energetically. It's like last year feels like a lifetime ago in some ways. So we really want to be keeping up with what's going on in the collective. So, this won't be any surprise to you. This really is a time of deep transformation in the world. There is so much kind of turmoil and upheaval going on in lots of different aspects of our experience. And globally, this is happening. And this can feel chaotic and scary and painful for many of us. And, that chaos, that uncertainty is certainly something that a lot of people are experiencing right now. And I'm sure many of us are experiencing it, that sense of kind of chaos and fear that comes along with that uncertainty. But what this means, the fact that we are experiencing this in the world at the moment, is that we need powerful space holders. We need people who are able to hold a powerful space for the transformation that is happening. It's like everything is coming to the surface right now. And it's coming to the surface to be cleared and to be transformed. And in order for that to happen, we need people who are able to hold a powerful space. And each of you who are watching and listening to this, you are those space holders. So it really is time for you to be stepping forward and to be kind of acknowledging your power in terms of holding space. And if you are joining us, welcome. If you could mute your microphone so that we get a really clear recording, that would be great. I think that's Randy who's just joined us. Welcome, Randy. So if you could just mute yourself, that would be fantastic. Another reason why it's never been a better time to be an unbound woman in business is, people are really craving a sense of real connection and authenticity right now. And this is something, like I said at the beginning, that you can't help but be authentic in what you do and have this sense of connection about everything that you do in your business. I know that is the case for each one of you watching this. But I think it's really important to acknowledge that, this is what people are looking for right now. And more people are waking up to magic. And what I mean by magic is, what I was talking about at the beginning, about the way your unique gifts, like each of you watching this, you have these unique and multifaceted gifts, which, yes, can sometimes be difficult to kind of put into words and to clearly define. But more and more people are really waking up to that, these kind of magical ways of working, which really, I guess what I'm talking about is the way you create transformation. So each of you watching this, each of you on this workshop, and I know for each of you watching the recording, what you do in your business in some way is creating a transformation. And people are becoming much more open to transformational ways of working, these magical ways of working. So people who in the past might have been really closed off to what you do and not kind of got what you do, more and more people are becoming open to it, open to the message that you're here to share with the world, the medicine that you're here to share with the world. We're really going through or experiencing this kind of mass awakening in the collective. And this is going to continue. It's going to become even more powerful. There's also been this real shift away from, people wanting and providing, pure just information and content, towards people really having this desire for an experience and transformation. So I know certainly when I started my business back in 2010, and really for the first few years of running my business, and especially in the online space, until very recently, there's been this real focus on kind of content marketing, information marketing, like sharing information and content, and not having that hasn't been as much space for work that is experiential and truly transformational. It's been very much kind of systems based. It's like, follow these steps, do this, this, and this, and you'll get this. And it's really been focused as well on defined outcomes. People have been encouraged in their business to say, look, you really want to kind of get really clear on the outcome that you provide to your clients, rather than actually thinking about the process that you take them through and the value actually of that process. So there's a real shift away, and this is relatively new, but people are appreciating, starting to appreciate, certainly, and certainly your kind of soul family clients, your joy to work with clients, are going to have this deep appreciation of actually the process that you take people through, rather than just being focused on this rigid, defined outcome. So, there's nothing wrong with having an idea of the outcome you can create for your clients, for your audience. But it's really important to honor and appreciate the process that you take them through and the power of that as well. And like I said, this is something that is starting to shift in the collective, and it's really exciting because, when we free ourselves from having to have this just really limited, defined outcome, we we free ourselves up to work in our most powerful way and to really be in our gifts, but we also we open up this completely limitless and new sense of possibility for our clients and the people we work with. So all of these aspects are going to become ever more and more powerful as we move towards and into 2020. So next year is a really key year. We're moving into this completely new era in the world, in the collective, which is really going to become apparent next year. So this is a really great time to be, like I said, harnessing all of these shifts that are already happening in the collective, because they are going to become even more apparent as we move through the next 12 months and beyond. And we really want to be at the forefront of that. So what I also, what also feels really important to share with you, this is something that's been coming through very strongly. It was coming through strongly for me last year, and certainly in the first few months of this year, I've received this message over and over again. But the universe really delights in swift, inspired action. Okay, the universe will reward you for fast, inspired action. So there is this sense of urgency right now because things are moving very quickly. I'm sure you are aware of this, the way it feels like, time is going more quickly. Things are moving very quickly. There is this kind of continual sense of things kind of changing. It's like the world is shifting and changing under our feet. We are changing very quickly. And because of this, there is this sense of urgency. And I don't mean urgency in a kind of pressurized way. I mean it like in a really exciting way. This is, and I think actually it can be helpful to acknowledge it rather than kind of feeling powerless with this continual transformation, like it's something that's happening to you or to us and we have no control over it. When we embrace it and say, yes, we are here at these times where change is happening very quickly. And actually, each one of us have skills and gifts where we're able to support others through that. And it's our duty. I see it as our duty to actually step forward and support others at this time and to hold space for others at this time. Now, what I mean by this and what it means, when I'm talking about like the universe really wanting you to take swift, inspired action, if you have a desire that you are feeling or an idea that has come to you, and I know a lot of us, if you're anything like me, and I'm sure you are, we get these downloads of information or ideas that come through for us. And if you have a desire and an idea that's coming through for you now, it's meant for now, okay? There's no need to delay. There's no need to wait. Even if it feels like something kind of much bigger, maybe than you've desired or had an idea for before, even if it feels like it's out of reach, even if it feels completely random, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it feels like it's just not possible for you, it's no accident that your desires, that certain desires are coming through for you at this time, or certain ideas are coming through for you. Okay, so I just want you to know that if something is coming up for you, an idea about how you want to move forward, something you want to create, somebody you want to reach out to and connect with, something that you want to receive, a way of working that you want to move into, or something you want to let go of, if that is coming through for you now, it's meant for now. Okay. So it's not about, oh, okay, well, maybe I can do that in a year's time or 5 years time or 10 years time, whatever it is. And when something is an authentic and genuine desire or a creative idea, you feel it in your body, you can tune in. And I think, this is about having a level of discernment. Sometimes we can see what someone else is doing and we slip into this place of like, oh, maybe I should do it like that, or maybe I should want that. I think, each of us, if we really tune in, we're able to discern what's genuinely for us and what is maybe somebody else's, and we're just comparing ourselves to others or being influenced by what others are doing. If there is something that is coming through for you and you can feel it in your body, then like I said, it's no accident. It is meant for now. There's no need to delay. And to take action on that. The universe will reward you for taking this inspired action and taking it quickly. And, what I mean by this is not kind of being in this place of hustle where you're like hustling and like, taking action and working for like 8, 9, 10 hours a day. No, not at all. But I mean, when you get those kind of like golden nuggets, those ideas or desires, something you want to create that just feels so good and so right, rather than thinking, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that, or, try and create that next month or next year, or, for once I've done whatever it is, once you've kind of cleared your to-do list. It's about trusting that and, even taking one step towards it. It could be a small step, but you want to show willing. You want to demonstrate to the universe that you have heard the call, whatever it is, and taking one small step towards it. That's inspired action. So rather than doing more and more and more of stuff that isn't coming from this place of true inspiration, from kind of your unbound genius, it's about really tuning in to these ideas that are coming to you and taking action on the most powerful things. Like taking action when you feel really inspired. And like I said, you don't need to know exactly how you're going to create all of it. You don't need to know every step of the path towards what you want to create, but you just take the first step and you get clarity through doing. So this is what helps us to keep pace with this continual evolution and transformation. Okay. So this is quite new because I think, and certainly, thinking back, like I said, to when I started my business, I might have spent like a year or more kind of working on a particular project or a particular way of working. And now it just feels like we want to get into this place where, and I don't want, like I said, I'm very conscious. I don't want to make this sound like you have to be working all the time at a pace that feels uncomfortable for you. But I want you to know that when ideas are coming through for you, that you can start taking action on them straight away. And actually, when you're doing this from this place of alignment and this place of inspiration, it doesn't feel like you're in this place of overwhelm. It doesn't feel like, you're under pressure or you're super busy, because you're truly working in, you're living in your gifts. And I think, we've spoken about how everything is speeding up and how everything is moving really quickly. So you want to keep pace with that. We're moving in, I guess, into a new, there's a new pace to how we're working. So it's adjusting to that. And, people have said to me, and I know I've asked this question myself, is it always going to be like this? Are there always going to be so many ideas coming through so quickly, and it feels like there's this continual transformation which never stops? And I think for the foreseeable future, yeah, it is going to be like that. But so it's about allowing ourselves to go with that and supporting ourselves as we do kind of keep pace with this continual evolution and transformation that is demanded of us right now. Demanded of us in the most exciting and expansive way. I hope that makes sense. And, you know, the unbound woman goes first. So each of you who are listening to this, whether you're here with me live or you're on the recording, this is what we do as unbound women. We go first. We get the idea, and even if it seems a bit, like I said, a bit random, a bit out there, even if no one else is doing it like that, even if it feels uncomfortable to us or challenging to us, we trust it. We trust ourselves. We trust our unbound selves, you know, the fullest, freest expression of who we are. You know, we trust the universe, and we go with it. We take that first step. And when we do that, we create the space, we create the path for others to come with us. But we're not following others. The unbound woman goes first. And that is for each one of you. So it's exciting, and it's, you know, it's also scary. But I think it was Fritz Perls who said that fear is excitement without the breath. So we breathe through it. And the more you do this, the more trust you will gain in yourself and your ideas that are coming through and the desires that you have. Okay. So I want to move on and talk about the key questions that you need to ask to attract more of your soul family clients, more of your joy to work with clients. And I love this photo. This is a photo of the women who joined me on my Live Your Gift retreat last year in the New Forest here in the UK. Oh my goodness. And it was just such an unbound experience, and they are definitely my soul family, an example of my soul family clients. So these are the questions that you want to be asking yourself. So kind of the old way, and what a lot of us have been taught to ask when we're thinking about our business and what we want to create in our business and how we want to move forward, is, you know, to be really focusing on what do people want from us. What do our audience want from us? What's their pain point? And how can I meet that need? So immediately we're looking outside of ourselves, we're looking outwards, and kind of molding ourselves and molding our business to fit this perceived need that others have. Now, I'm not saying that we don't want to have empathy for, you know, our clients' struggles and challenges. We absolutely do. But the thing is, you will naturally have that empathy, because what we do as unbound women is we tend to create businesses which are based on our own challenges that we've experienced, our own struggles that we've been through, you know, our own transformation. We tend to take all of that and create it into this wonderful way of working with others. So you already have that natural empathy. You don't need to spend a lot of time thinking outside of yourself about what other people want and what their pain point is and how you can meet that need. You don't need to kind of create something kind of separate from yourself around that. You know, that actually puts us in a place of limitation. You know, it can be okay to work like that and to ask those kind of questions, but it's not enough for us as unbound women. So these are the kind of questions that you want to be asking yourself. And if you have got a notebook, I encourage you to write these down. There will be a recording, and actually this will be, we'll bring this into the process that we move through a bit later in the session, but it will be helpful for you to write these questions down. So the first one is, how do I want my audience, my clients to feel? And this is something, I work with women in my Unbound writing mastermind, where I support women to write their books, which really share the truest essence of who they are and the message that they're here to share. And this is one of the questions that we work with in the writing mastermind. How do I want my readers to feel? But it's really important in your business as well to ask that question. What is the feeling you want to evoke in your clients, in your audience? And I'll go through the questions and then I'll talk about why they're important. The next one is, how can I create a community around the vision that I have? And also you can reword that question to, how can I create a community around my message, the message that you're here to share with the world? Or it might be, how can I create a community around my magic or my medicine that I'm here to share? Any of those words will fit. But you're really thinking about your clients, your audience, rather than thinking about them as something separate. You're moving into them, you're creating a sense of community. And that creates a real shift. Okay, when you think about your clients as a community, you come closer to them. You move towards them rather than thinking about them as something separate, or a group of people who need to be fixed in some way. No one needs to be fixed. Okay, so this is about creating a community. And then you go on to ask, what vision do I hold for each member of my community? So what is it that you want to create, or what do you want each member of your community to create for themselves? What is the highest vision? What is the most unbound vision you hold for each member of your community? So when you do this, when you ask these series of questions, you automatically create a deeper sense of connection with your clients. You relate to them very differently. If you just notice how you feel in terms of those questions that I've just given you, and in contrast to those kind of more traditional questions that we've been encouraged to ask. This is about, like I said, creating a deeper sense of connection. And your clients, your potential clients, your audience can feel that. And also what it does is it takes you out of your stuff. I've spoken about this recently. When we think about the vision that we hold, or the kind of community that we want to create, and the vision that we hold for each member of our community, it can help to elevate us above our own fear. It takes us out of our own fear, and we have this sense of momentum, which will keep us going because we're so clear on what we want to create for each of the people who are in our communities. Even if we feel scared about taking the action and, doing what we need to do in order to create this, because we're so connected to that sense of commitment to our community and what we want to help each one of them to create, or activate each one of them to create, it helps to take us out of our own fear. So these questions, what they do is they feel freer. When you're focusing on how you want your clients to feel, how you want your audience to feel, it kind of takes you out of that head-based place where you're trying to figure it all out, and it feels freer and more expansive. So as an example, like I said, my thing is Unbound, and that is the key feeling that I want my clients, my audience to feel. Like everyone who comes into contact with me or my work, whether it's kind of my book or one of my masterminds that I run, or my one-to-one work, or seeing my stuff on social media, I want everyone who comes into contact with that to have a sense of, have a feeling of unboundness. Okay. And actually that's really freeing for me, because if I was focusing on a particular pain point, maybe it would be wanting to help women to make more money in their business, which is something that I focused on in the past. That doesn't feel kind of juicy for me. That is one of the things that I hope that women who work with me will experience. But I start with the feeling, that is much more compelling for me, and it's actually compelling for my clients and my audience. Okay, it feels freer, it feels more expansive, because yes, one of the outcomes you might experience is to make more money in your business or to attract more clients, but also so much more potential there. Okay, so whatever feeling it is, it gives you a lot more freedom in what you do in your business. It honors this sense of connection. Like I said, all of these questions, when you ask them of yourself, you can't help but feel more connected with your clients, with your audience, with yourself, and with your business. It allows your full magic, so you can bring like all of your gifts to what you do. You don't have to limit yourself. And it creates a movement, when you're talking and thinking about the vision that you hold for your community, it is going to create this movement of some kind, which will have its own energy, its own momentum. And also, this allows for, the complexity of who we are and how we feel, both ourselves and also our clients. We are complex, multifaceted beings. So if we're focusing or trying to fit ourselves into this box of meeting a particular outcome or helping our clients to reach like a really specific goal, okay, that's okay, but it's not really honoring the full range of who we are or who our clients are. So like I said, this question about how you want your audience to feel, it's not going to be just one feeling. There will be a number of feelings that come through, and they may feel like contradictory in a way, but that's good. That's great. So, this is something that we've been talking about in the writing mastermind recently. And, some of the feelings that have been coming up are like rage and celebration, two feelings that kind of are at opposite ends of the spectrum maybe, but it's really powerful to have a sense of those kind of contrasting feelings that you want to evoke in your clients, because it gives you more freedom and it helps them to feel freer and helps them to feel more seen and understood as well, because you're getting their complexity. For me, in the work that I do, I want to bring forward like a fierceness, that unbound fierceness, but I also want my clients and my audience to feel nurtured. So it's like this fiercely nurturing quality that I bring through, and it just feels really freeing for me to be able to lean into both of those qualities, and that feels very supportive to my clients as well. So just really allowing yourself to kind of lean into the full spectrum of feelings that you want to evoke in your audience, and also, like I said, the vision that you want to create around the community, like thinking of your business as a community that you're creating. Okay, so I want to talk about the one thing that is vital to your business success in 2019. And it is vital because it brings together everything that we've spoken about so far. And what it is, it's really co-creation and holding space for co-creation. So what I mean by that is really letting go of any ideas, any old ways of doing things where it's really this top-down kind of hierarchical structure where, I am the teacher and I'm going to teach you something. Or, you know, or even I am the leader and I'm going to lead you and you will follow me through this process. We're kind of letting go of that. It's very much part of the kind of patriarchal way of doing things. And you know, it's kind of the way things have been done in business for a long time. There have been these really hierarchical structures that are incredibly limiting, and they feel very restrictive for the unbound woman. So what we're doing is instead of that, we're moving into this place, this really magical place of co-creation. And, you know, what this is about is really acknowledging and honoring that what you do is an interactive and dynamic process. So there's this two-way flow between you and your client, or clients, you and your audience. You are all part of the experience. You are co-creating this experience. It's not something you are doing to your clients. You are co-creating it together. Now, like I said, I'm sure you are doing this quite naturally, but you know, this is something that I think we're all feeling called, or all being called to infuse into our businesses in an even deeper way. So what this does, it kind of takes the pressure off hugely, because rather than thinking, oh my goodness, if I'm going to do this, whatever it is, I need to have all of the answers. I need to know it all before I start. You know, I need to be the one who is doing all the work here. It gives you a sense. It gives you a sense of freedom. Because it's like, okay, I'm creating the space for this, whatever it is, this transformation. I'm creating space for you to experience these feelings. To have this experience, to move through this process, to go on this journey. And it frees you up to be the space holder, you know, and that's a really powerful thing, to be able to hold space for others. Okay. But rather than thinking you have to have all of this information, all of this content, like you have to have all of the answers, no, you hold the space. And all you need to focus on is really leaning more deeply into your own gifts, being the fullest expression of your gifts. When you hold that space and your client is able to step into that, and knowing that there is space for them to be able to, you know, bring their own magic into that it is this space of co-creation. That is an incredibly powerful thing. You know, all of the, in all of the work that I do now, they're very much kind of co-created spaces, certainly in the masterminds that I run and in my one-to-one work. You know, it often feels like my clients are there. They kind of teach me as much as I teach them. And in the masterminds that I run, the Unbound Writing Mastermind and the Business Masterminds that is starting very soon, it's not just about me kind of sharing information and taking you through a process. Each person who joins, each woman who joins, has her own kind of magic to share with each of the other members of the group. Okay, so like there's this two-way flow of insight and awareness, which is really powerful, to recognize that we don't have to do it all. We create the space for co-creation. So this means it's less about information, more about activation. And again, that's really freeing to realize that it doesn't have to be all about kind of just throwing a ton of information at people. It's much more supportive to hold space for someone to have their own experience, to honor their own unique process, than to try and force somebody through kind of this rigid system. And this feels amazingly powerful to your clients because they're able to have their own experience. And when you're doing this, when you're really holding space for co-creation, when you're honoring this kind of energy of co-creation, you want to be very intentional about your own energy. Okay, so you want to make sure that your own energy is really clear. So you want to be supporting yourself in the most powerful way. So really kind of leaning more deeply into your self-care, making sure that you feel really spacious in your business, that you're not in this place of overwhelm, and that you have people around you who can, support you with this. And also you want to be working with the right clients when you're working like this. You really want to be co-creating with your joy to work with clients, people who get you. And, that all of these aspects kind of tie in with each other. But when you are really fully living in your gift, you kind of naturally attract the clients that you are going to be able to co-create in this powerful way with. Whew. Okay. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute. I'm just going to see so many questions. Oh, Emily, you asked, what does collective mean? Sorry, I've only just seen that. When I'm talking about the collective, I mean, really, I'm just talking about what's happening in the world. Like, the collective is like everyone else in the world. So hopefully that became clear as I was talking more, as I was talking about that, hopefully. Okay, we're going to go into, I just wanted to check what that was. Hey. Oh, I've stopped sharing. I'm going to share again. Has anyone got any questions before we go into the process I'm going to be sharing, taking you through? You can just type them into the chat box or unmute yourself, or any comments or insights. As you're doing that, I'll just go back into share. Okay, we'll dive straight into this process then. And really, in order to tune into the next evolution of your business, it's about asking those questions that I have given you a bit earlier. So I'm just going to invite you to reflect on those now, just for a few minutes. And you can come back to this. Like I said, you'll have the recording. You can come back to this and reflect on them more deeply. But I just want to create space for you to be able to tune into them and just see what immediate insights or awarenesses come through for you. So just taking a moment just to pause and settle into everything we've been speaking about. There's quite a lot to take on board there. So just taking a few deep breaths and really consciously inviting everything that I've been speaking about to really integrate, really inviting it into you. Invite that knowing, these awarenesses into you. And as you do that, taking as many deep breaths as you need, just to feel spacious, grounded, centered. I'd like you to invite your unbound self to connect with you. So your unbound self is the you that expresses all of you. So just invite her to connect with you now. And she may do that, you know, you may have a visual sense of your unbound self, you may have a felt sense, a felt experience of your unbound self, you may experience that in your body, like a sense of boundlessness. Just however she connects with you, that's absolutely perfect. And your unbound self is always going to help you to connect with the most expansive version of your business, of what you're here to be doing in the world, what you're here to share with the world. So just allowing her to be with you now. And just taking some time to ask those questions that we've been focusing on during this session. You know, how do I want my clients, my audience to feel? What is the feeling I want to evoke within them through my work? And what kind of community do I want to create around my work, around my message? What kind of community do I want to create around the transformation that I activate in my clients? And really inviting a sense of that community into your awareness now. You know, maybe you actually see the people within your community or the people who are stepping into your community. Maybe you have a sense of them coming closer to you. And asking the question, you know, how can I connect more deeply with this community, with the members of this community? What do I need to create, do, or share in order to invite the members of this community closer to me, to bring them closer to me now? Just asking the question, you know, what is the vision? What is the most unbound vision that I hold for each member of this community, each member of my community, this community that I'm creating? And just being open to whatever comes to mind. And finally, asking this question of your unbound self. What does she want you to know in relation to your business right now? What do you need to know in terms of your business right now? And in terms of your next steps, that inspired action that you can take right now, what does she want you to know? Okay. So certainly notice what's coming to mind, what's coming through for you now. I'm aware that it's quite a short amount of time to devote to this process. So by all means, you can come back to it, like either listen to it on the recording or just write down the questions that we've just asked, and you can connect with your unbound self and give more space to that to see what comes through. But it's really about being open to what she shares with you and trusting it and acting on it. Okay. So it's being in that place. There's this continual process of asking the question, asking these expansive questions, being open to the answers that you receive, trusting them and acting on them. And then you can always ask questions for more clarity. It's really building this sense of trust in yourself, your unbound self. Okay. It's just really, really key. That's what's going to help you to bring forward all of the things that we've spoken today and kind of meet the challenges of living in this, in these transformational times that we're living in, and supporting others through that. Okay. So I just want to let you know, before we get on to questions, if you have any questions, about the Unbound Business Mastermind. So I've spoken about this a little bit throughout this process. The Unbound Business Mastermind is a 3-month process to help you feel fully expressed in your business, live fully in your gifts, and get abundantly well paid. Because as I said at the beginning, this is part of my mission, is to help you experience all of this and to get more unbound women to really be living fully in their gifts, and to get well rewarded for that, because the world needs you to really be leaning into the full expression of your gifts, the full expression of your magic. And the Unbound Business Mastermind, I will be sharing information and resources with you throughout it, but it really is a space. It's a magical space, and it's really about making space for your magic and your unique gifts to come through even more strongly. So it's a container of support which encourages experimentation and play. And, we talked about co-creation. This really is a co-created process. Each of the women who steps forward is going to be a key part of the experience, and you will learn as much from your kind of unbound sisters within the mastermind as you do from me. We're all going to be learning from each other, and it really is going to be this really free space where you are encouraged to experiment with all of the kind of things that we've spoken about today, and to play with them and to find your own unique way in your business. So the areas that we're going to be focusing on throughout the mastermind are, really tuning into your vision, like the vision that you hold for yourself, your business, and, the community that you create around your business. We're going to be focusing on your energy and your essence, because this is the most important thing. This is the foundation of your business, is that, you are energetically supported, that you are allowing yourself to really have this wonderful, clear and powerful energy, because this is what is going to attract your soul family clients to you. We are going to be focusing on kind of your offerings, what you're creating in your business, and really giving you the freedom to offer what you do in the way that feels best for you, that feels amazing for you, rather than thinking that you have to fit into old ways of offering your magic. We are going to be looking at visibility and marketing, but all of this in a really unbound way, money and pricing, and obviously community and connection. So those are the 6 areas that we're going to be focusing on throughout the mastermind. It begins on April the 8th, and it's an intimate group of women, like it's an intimate group experience. It's going to be a relatively small group. And for everyone who joins now, you will also receive access to any future rounds of the Unbound Business Mastermind. So you can really use this space, you can use this process to move ever more deeply into your gifts and kind of new evolutions of your business. And also, you know, it's really important to me that this is accessible. So there are a number of different payment plans available. It's a 3-month process, but you can either pay in full, or you can pay over the 3 months, or you can have a longer term payment plan. Okay, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. There isn't a sales page for this because I wanted the kind of invitation process to be more personal. So if you are interested in joining us for the Unbound Business Mastermind, as I said, it's going to be a relatively small group. It is going to be this co-created process. It's going to be an unbound adventure into all of these different areas of your business, with the intention of really moving more deeply into your gifts and getting really well paid, attracting more clients. If you're interested in joining us for that, just drop me a message. You can either message me on Facebook or send me an email, and I will send more details across to you. So you can decide whether you want to join us. Okay, but it'd be great to have you as part of it. Okay, so I'm gonna open up for questions now, if anyone's got any. Before we close, oh my goodness, I'm just seeing the time, so that's quite perfect. Coming up to 10 past the hour. So if anyone's got any questions, you can either, or comments or insights that you want to share, you can either unmute yourself and ask them, or type them into the chat box. And if you're watching the recording, you can either comment below this video or send me a message. And if there's not, that's fine too. But feel free to contact me afterwards, like I said. Okay, my loves. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure. Randy, you're saying, I'm so happy to have stumbled into this today. Such a divine serendipity for me. Just the encouragement I've needed as I'm getting my blog up. Yes, Randy, fantastic. I'd love to know more about what your blog is like. But this is the kind of thing, you know, when we work in this way, we really kind of create space for this kind of divine serendipity. People find us and what we do in the most magical ways. So it's really powerful, and you kind of can't plan for it. Penny, thank you for your time. Very interesting. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Penny. You're so welcome. Okay, so we will close there. Like I said, any questions, feel free to reach out and contact me afterwards. I'm really interested to know what your thoughts are on what I've shared. It's you know, some of this I've shared before, but sharing it in this way is quite new, and yeah, so I'm really curious to know what you receive from it. Okay, I will see you again soon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.